And I also have to point out this irony. I love the way they've structured the reunion. A bunch of cancer survivors getting together, people who are not supposed to be in the sun, in the midday heat, ingesting large quantities of red meat. That is a trick to drum up more business. That's what that is.
After like 7 years of living in LA and sleeping people's couches in my car, you know, just living the bohemian, trying to make it lifestyle, I get my first professional writing job. I start on a Monday and I get diagnosed with cancer that Tuesday. It was definitely like one of those, yeah, okay, well, it's just kind of, I don't know. It's one of I was kind of mad at the universe for a little while because after 7 years, I think it was about 6-7 years in LA, you're like, all right, man, I've earned this. You know, I've earned the right to feel good for like a week.
I'll never forget the first day I was in the hospital and I got high-dose chemotherapy because a normal chemo bag, how big is it? This big? No, they wheeled that sucker in on a wheelbarrow. They lock you in a room with a bag because if that stuff touches someone, they could die. But then to you, they put it in your heart. And they go, enjoy it. No, it's safe to go in your heart, you just can't get it on your finger. That would kill you.
You gotta be able to take a punch to survive cancer. And if you're a comedian and you work in the comedy business, you need to have thick skin. Because, you know, I mean, basically what I did was the day I got diagnosed was I called, because I knew things were gonna change in the room. Because it was gonna be apparent the physical changes my body was going through. And I came back from the doctor that day and I said, all right, let's just get this out in the open. Let's just keep it among the writers. And I called everybody in there and they were like, and I said, all right, guys. And I knew a lot of them from the comedy scene. It wasn't, you know, we weren't all strangers. And I said, I just got back from the doctor. I have some sort of interesting bad news. I've been diagnosed with cancer. I know I just started yesterday. Basically, I'm gonna miss Thursdays. We'll see how the treatment goes. Kind of like George Carl, you know what I mean? I didn't know how I was gonna handle it. I'm gonna try to stay as long as I can. I'd appreciate it if you just kept it to yourselves and didn't treat me any differently. And then by the time I got back to my cubicle, there was my name plate had been changed out and it said the writer with cancer.
The first dose of chemo they gave me, I grew a hemorrhoid the size of an Ewok. It was not, I was taller when I sat down. I'm gonna tell you.
I'm a bit cynical, so people say to me, they'll say, cancer was, in some ways, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And my reaction is always like, what was your life like before cancer? Were you in an internment camp? What? Did someone just walk around and hit you in the head with a hammer all day? No, it is not in any way the best thing that ever happened to you. It's like I said out there, when people go, you know, cancer made me a better person. Yeah, I'd rather be a slightly less good person. I'd rather just not be so awesome.
I don't know how many of you ever spent time in the quarantine unit. I loved it. Oh, the silence. And what better way to avoid annoying relatives?
My cancer was in remission, my writing gig had ended. I went and did Last Comic Standing. Auditioned for that, got it. Somehow, hadn't done stand-up in a year because I'd been writing on a show and going through chemo at that time, right? Somehow pulled it together to make it into the house. Did Last Comic Standing. Things are great. Career's about to go on an even further upward trajectory. Oh, but your cancer's come back. Now you need a bone marrow transplant. And now you have, instead of an 80% chance of living 5 years, you're down to 50-50. So it's just another one of those like, really? Seriously? Like how many, like most people are lucky to get half of a lucky break in Hollywood. And I get 2, and both times I'm sort of unable to capitalize because of a disease.
They told me I was gonna stay in a cabana. They said, all right, you're ready for outpatient treatment. You're gonna go to a cabana. And I was like, awesome. I've been to spring break, cabanas. That's not a cabana. I mean, I've woken up feeling that bad in a cabana, but usually there was a stranger next to me.
This is how important research is. I graduated high school in 1992. You know when the treatment was invented that saved my life? 1991. So, pretty important that people keep researching this stuff, because we wouldn't be having this conversation, and my little girls wouldn't have a dad without research. So that's how important ThinkCure is.
I think that everybody here, because you have to go through so much stuff here to get better that you don't want to go through, and also because this is LA, I think you should get, for every disease you get treated for, you should get one plastic surgery treatment free.
There's nobody at City Hope who's just here to cash a check. There's not one person out there that I ever met. And yeah, it's like one of the only hospitals I've ever had in where a nurse would just stay in my room for 20 minutes just stroking my forehead while I was weeping. Just, because some days you just had enough. You just can't, you're unable to continue. You know, you want to play hurt, but you can't, and you can't keep that facade up of that comedic bravado that I like to always have on, that armor. Some days it's not there, and there was a couple days here where, you know, I wasn't good, and they were there for me.
I don't know if anybody here from the Dodgers can make this happen, but I think, and speaking as a former patient, this would really, really help the patients. I think everybody who gets to 5 years in remission should get one at bat. In a real game, no exhibition stuff, just one. And I'm not going to bunt. I'm just telling you right now, I'm not going to bunt.
The one thing I'll tell to other cancer survivors is that, like grief, eventually it lessens and your chest gets less heavy, and eventually you do start to breathe and live and smile again. And I can happily say I'm at the point now where if someone doesn't take a ride on red, I get really angry. I have officially lost perspective. How awesome is that? If you don't take a ride on red in front of me, I will honk and swear at you. That's pretty cool. I used to be all zen about it. Not anymore. I've lost, it's gone. No more. I hate you. Go, go, go. Life is short. I'm a cancer survivor. Go.